Are there VIP tickets? What do we do to meet you guys and this and that? And it's like, we'll be at the merch booth. Come say hi.
Right,
you know?
Just come to a
like,
show.
We don't, unless we're working, before the shows, we're working, we're getting ready, we're loading gear, we're whatever needs to be done at press, and we're usually not around beforehand. But afterwards, we're not hiding backstage. I mean, regardless of what MTV told you, like, backstage sucks. It's boring. There's not much going on.
and you're making fans' day, too. And not only are you making that person happy for that 1 minute interaction, but they're going to go tell 100 other people that they met you, and you're probably going to have a fan for life.
Sure, yeah, exactly. And like I said, it's that connection. Even with Human Factors Lab, I have friends that I've made that I met because they were fans, and they came up or they messaged me or whatever, and you just start talking to people, and they share their life stories, and you share yours, and you learn. Life is about experiences, and it's about connecting with other people and sharing those experiences. So that's really important to us. We try to keep doing that. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on that thing before moving. I knew you were going to ask.
Right, no problem. So. Yeah, no. This is about what you have to say and what you're up to. So it's your call about whatever you want to talk about. So with the record that's coming out, it's an EP. It's named Lux. Did you record all the music, or did you have other musicians? I know I seen some pictures of like a guitar player recording and stuff. So tell us about that, because there's that seems to be what fans want to know, is like the process and get to know rock stars and musicians personally. A lot of interviewers don't like to do that because I don't know, but I like to get into what the person's up to and get to know that person. So what was the recording process like for you?
Well, the recording process was a lot of fun, actually. I'm an audio engineer myself, as well as a musician and a producer, and I was fortunate enough to be one of the chief engineers at a studio in Orlando called KDS. It used to be Transcon, so it was like Transcon's Lou Pearlman with Backstreet and NSYNC and Britney, that the whole boy band pop music thing happened. But essentially I had access to this amazing multi-million-dollar facility to be able to use to do it. So that was really, really great. So what I did was I started working with a couple different musicians here and there, and collaborating with different people. And some of those people are coming out on the road. Some of them have become permanent members. One of them, her basically character in the band is Little Sister, and she's become over the last year a much more permanent member other than just myself. And we have Jay, who's our bass player, who is here from day one, and was involved in the writing process, and he's on this tour as well and on the album. And we have some other people. Steve White from KMFDM recorded guitars on the album. Our guitarist John, that's coming out on tour, recorded guitars on one song. So basically, it's a variety of musicians collaborating and doing a bunch of cool stuff together.
Cool. So you did the EP. And now, is there going to be a full length to follow, or is this something that you're going to, take your time with at this point?
Well, it's an interesting question. There wasn't even, it's kind of the other way. We were not even going to do an EP. One of the things I've I guess it's one of the weird outside of the box where I talk to people about some of these ideas, and half the people are like, yeah, that's exactly what you need to do, and the other half are, no, you're crazy, you have no idea what you're doing, that's going to fail, you don't know how the music industry works, And what I find is a lot of people hang on to kind of a lot of the old school methods when, in my opinion, they don't really work. And one of those is releasing full-length albums. I don't think the way like I said, we're really big on fan interaction, so we get a lot of great feedback as a result of that. And we realize that the way our fans consume music, for lack of a better term, they're not buying full-length albums,
Right.
And we appear to a younger demographic than we are, and so we have a lot of teenagers and, you know, early teens, mid-teens, late teens, early 20s, whatever. And me personally, I'm a little bit older, and I love vinyl. I love full length. I miss the experience of going into even a CD store and just walking around and browsing and finding new music that way and buying music and stuff like that. And that's just, you don't see that anymore. It's a rare kind of dying thing. And so I looked at that and I said, well, why are we sticking to this format of putting out full albums if people aren't really consuming music that way? And it's almost like we're just clinging on to this, but why? You know, I kind of look at it like, what if nobody ever told us about an album? What if we just had no concept and we're like, hey, put out music to your fans? How would we do it? Why would we put out a full length? The market doesn't really lend itself to that anymore.
Right. I mean, it's like reverting back to itself, because that's how it started. And then people started putting out full lengths. And now it's like you have to change with the times at a certain point, because it's a totally different world now. Even like certain stores are closing because you have Walmart, and then you have higher end food stores, and the guy in the middle has been doing the same thing for 60, 70 years. Of course you're gonna die as a business because you're not changing with the times, and it's a different world for music.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And so the concept we had right from the beginning with Seven Factor was that we were going to release singles, but we were going to release them with videos. Again, bringing the audio, video, just the complete artistic thing, and get across what we wanted. One thing I haven't really touched on is that there's a thing underlying with the band, and we haven't really launched it too much or talked too much at all about it. We've been kind of secretive about it, but we have this thing called an alternate reality game that is based around the band. And I won't even get into what that is. People can look it up and try to figure it out, and that's half the fun. But there's essentially a storyline behind it, and without it being a concept band or a concept album, there's still underlying messages and underlying themes that are consistent within the artwork. And we felt that one way to do that would be through video, because it's something I really want to do. It's something I think that can reach a lot of people very quickly, especially with social media, and technology now really lends itself to video. And I'm also a video editor, so to be able to produce videos is very easy for me. I can, film and edit and get it done, sometimes as quick as a couple days if I really wanted to.
Right.
So it all made sense to just release singles. We'll record 3 months in advance, so we always have at least 3 songs ready to go, but we release them one at a time, like once a month. And that was the plan until we got a call to go on tour, and then it became almost a business decision at that point. Like, well, if we're going on tour, we probably want people to be able to have something to walk away with after the show. If they want to get a CD, instead of buying a bunch of singles, that doesn't make sense. You go to a show and, okay, I'll buy 6 of your singles. Like, now it makes sense. Let's put them all together on one disc. they can get those singles. And we had some that were unreleased. Like I said, we work about 3 months in advance for what we're releasing. So we had some stuff that hadn't been released, so we just kind of held back on it and tweaked it and put it together with one song that had been released. And that's the EP now. It was a result of the tour, which it's usually the other way around. But the EP came out because the tour came about.
So you are making physical copies.
We are, and we're making a extremely limited amount. We're only making 300 of them, and we have no intention of producing any after that. It's really just for people that come to this tour to be able to get them, but they are also available on our online store because we're not doing the full country. We're not playing a world tour, and as you mentioned, we have a lot of fans outside the U.S., so we want it where in a short amount of time, for a limited time, people are able to buy a physical copy if they want. And once those 300 run out, then it's just going to be in a digital format, and we're on to the next thing already. So
right, gotcha.
We're constantly creating new content, new material. So we would take the approach where we would rather make a limited edition of something and then work on creating something new and put out another limited edition item instead of reprint the CDs after those 300. Even if it's successful, we won't reprint it, which might seem like a bad business move, but that's where the artistic side comes in. So
actually, I think it might be a good move because it's gonna push people to buy it quicker. And then you're going to be seeing that in places like eBay and on Amazon, and people are going to be paying ridiculous prices for it when they can just buy it. So it's going to pique interest as far as that goes, and then it's probably going to sell more digital copies. And now on,
which would be awesome. We don't do it for the money, but the money fuels the machine and puts the art out, and that's what we do want to do. So it kind of goes hand in hand in that aspect. So.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you have to get something in return for, I mean, especially when you have all that fan base and you don't put out that much product just seeing that you have that many fans and don't really push out a lot of product just tells you that you don't really do it for the money right there. So,
sure.
Do you know how many pre-orders you have already, or?
I don't know. We have an amazing company that we work with that handles all our merchandise, and they handle our online store. And, when people place the orders, they take care of everything from manufacturing to shipping and stuff like that. And so we usually just get a monthly report. If I felt like calling up and be like, hey, how we're doing, I could. But I've been much more focused on getting the tour where it needs to be and getting everything else done. So I actually haven't even called to be like, hey, how are those pre-orders going,
Right.
Hopefully they're going cool. I have no idea. I've gotten, I know we have at least a couple dozen because I've gotten that many emails from people saying they ordered it, but who knows,
Right.
The iTunes pre-order was supposed to go up on the 21st. It didn't actually go up until today, but that's also up. So, who knows? It'd be cool.
I hear
it's cool if people pre-order it. We got posters and stuff we send out with them just as an extra little, thanks for getting this ahead of time. I think some people are doing it just so they make sure that, there's only 300 of them, so they're like, oh, I better get it now before they're gone.
Right, yeah, so, no, I completely understand that. So, I mean,
cool.
It's definitely cool how you're doing it, and you're definitely diverting away from what most bands are doing now, and most of the bands are doing this stuff themselves. I mean, basically printing CDs on their computer. I mean, I'd rather have merchandise. Certain bands, it's cool, they're doing their T-shirts, but eventually you have to move on, and someone's got to handle it for you at some point, but.
Yeah, with me, I pride myself on being a fairly talented musician and artist, but I'm not a good screen printer of shirts, and I'm not good at burning CDs. I'd rather let somebody that does that for a living, that puts out, quality is important. I would be let down if I bought something and it was like a shirt that's faded after washing it twice, or a CDR that was kind of like, you want like the real deal. You want the quality. Especially now, I think CDs are becoming more collector's items.
Right.
It's not quite what they were. So if you get a CD, it's got to have the artwork and the liner notes and the stuff you could sit there and read and look at it and hold it in your hands. You might not look at, you're not putting it in your car CD player necessarily. You might probably put it in your computer and rip the MP3s and have it on your phone or whatever, but you want that CD to look like a cool, real CD, not some CDR. And no offense to DIY musicians that are doing that.
That's how they do.
I'm all about people. If they're just creating art and doing cool stuff and they're doing it on their home or just because they want to be DIY or that's what their budget allows, that's cool. When I first started, I bought cassette tapes and was burning really horrible copies of cassettes and drawing them myself and selling them to my friends for $2, So
right.
DIY is cool.
I still buy CDs. Like you said, I buy the CD. Like I just bought the Bile CD. I put it in.
Cool.
I